I think when we start with NFL draft, for me, a lot of emotions come about. A lot of emotions.
You've been there.
I've been there before. 2005, I was drafted 78th overall by the then Oakland Raiders. And it's a time that I always remember. I remember it like it was yesterday. But this was when the draft was 2 days, right? Now it's different, okay? The draft is this 3-day extravaganza. It is now, obviously, it's the draft on wheels, right? You can move it around now, different places. Before, it was always the draft is in New York City, Radio City Music Hall. And you had rounds 1 through 3 on Saturday and 4 through 7 on Sunday. So in 2005, I remember, the draft was 2 days. 1 through 3 was on Saturday and 4 through 7 was on Sunday. And it was a point where it was always about, are you a first day pick? Right? I wanted to be a first day pick. I was hoping to be a first day pick. And things were aligned for me that, okay, that opportunity will present itself. And it just depends on where. I had spoken to many teams. Went on a couple of those, top 30 visits. So you kind of had an inclination that teams, all say that, oh, we like you. And if you're there, man, we're going to try to pull the trigger. So you're excited. You're emotional. You're like, man, whew, it's going to happen. But then there's like this break in between like the visits, the combine, and you're kind of like in this space. For all those like Stranger Things fans out there on Netflix, you're kind of like in this underworld for a couple weeks where time is just passing by, but yet there's something on the other side. Like that there is this decision that's being made for you that's going to change your life in terms of where you're going to play professional football. So I remember leading up into the draft, one of the things that kind of hit me was that, man, I'm going to be playing for an NFL franchise and I have no idea where I'm going. So the anxiety starts to kick in, and the anxiety is already there. I had a chance to talk to some of the NFL prospects yesterday as they doing some of the community events out there in Kansas City. And so I had a chance to interview, Will Anderson, and he's like, man, it hit me when I got on the plane. Like it hit me when I got on the plane to come to Kansas City that I'm leaving Kansas City as a member of an NFL franchise. And that scares me a little bit. So I don't know if any of these guys got any sleep last night, because I know I didn't get sleep the night before the NFL draft because I kind of secluded myself. I just wanted that moment to be something in which, okay, whether it was good or bad, the emotions that came over me were one in which of relief. Like big relief. Tonight, I want you guys, Brock, Del Tufo, TJ, people out there listening, people out there watching. I want everybody tonight, when the draft picks are announced, just for 1 second, have a clear mind, regardless of this is your team you're cheering for or not, but to watch the emotions of these players. The first thing that, how many guys, first of all, when they get drafted tonight, take a deep breath? That's the first thing. Like it's like a long exhale. I shouldn't say take a deep breath, just a long exhale. It's a long exhale of all of this pent up frustration finally being released. Because the NFL draft is the first time a lot of these players, or I would say the NFL draft process is the first time, I know for myself, maybe for a lot of these guys, this is the first time people weren't patting you on the back. The NFL draft is actually to tear you down, not to build you up. It's about to highlight your negatives and not necessarily your positives for the most part. I never really liked that about the draft. And we're seeing it kind of take place with some players at the top of the draft now. Sort of this tearing down, or why would you go with that guy? He's not a great test taker, or he's not necessarily a good leader. Look at his the draft sort of tears you down. And remember, these are young 21, 22-year-old kids who are hearing this in real time and seeing this, Googling their name, and this is the story that pops up. They can't ignore it. They can't hide it. But I'll tell you this, when that phone rings tonight, and everybody grabs the phone and they tell everybody around them, shh, be quiet, shh, be quiet, hey, phone's ringing. And what is it always? Hey, can I speak to such and such? It's like, hey, this is him. Hi, we're about to select you. The first thing that you see is an exhale of, and for all those guys who say, I'm not a crier, I'm not this, those emotions, man, it gets me going right now because I know what that feeling feels like. I know what it feels like. I waited, the NFL draft, I believe, in 2005 started at, I want to say 9 a.m. local, maybe even 8 a.m. local time.
It was early.
Maybe I'll go 8 a.m. local time.
Early.
So I got up to watch the draft. Now, I wasn't considered a first-round pick back in 2005, so I kind of felt that, all right, I'll watch, but man, if I get the phone call, trust me, I'm taking it for sure. But that's when the first round was like 4.5, 5 hours. Remember, 15 minutes on the clock for all 32 teams. So I didn't get drafted in the first round. Second round came, I had a couple of teams I knew that were looking for a linebacker, and I'm waiting. And I'm watching teams on the clock, and still name not called yet. I'm like, oh, man. And then I remember, I'm watching the draft at 8 a.m. By 3 o'clock, I had to leave the house. I'm done. Like, I got to go. Yeah. I got to go. Me and my brother, we left. Went to go grab a bite to eat, go grab a soda or something. Like, we got to do something. And I remember I got back to the house or where we were watching the draft at. This is about 5:30, 6 o'clock. And it's like, well, the third round has already started. It may not be for me. I may have to wait till the next day. And I was cool with that. But I remember about 6:30 p.m., I got a phone call from a area code 510 number. Now, the only thing about that was different for me was that 510 was also my hometown's area code.
Could be a boy.
So I'm like, 510, wait, who's calling? Oh, my. So I don't know if this is a family member, because, you got some family members who are like, hey, man, I thought you was in the draft today. They call your name yet? I was like,
right, exactly.
Some people have no idea.
Hey, this is your long-lost cousin. Don't forget about me.
So I'm honestly, I'm looking at this phone call, 510 popping up. I said, I got to answer it. So I answer it. It says, hi, is Kirk Morrison available? I said, yeah, this is him. And says, hi, this is such and such the secretary with the Oakland Raiders. I have Coach Turner on the line. Would you have time for him? I said, damn right I got time for him. Patch him through. So he patched him through, and I remember Coach North Turner, who was my coach back in 2005, says, hey, well, just want to let you know you're about to be a Raider. How you feel about that? And once he said that, literally the Hoover Dam was broken. Like the tears start flowing. It started. Honestly, I don't remember much after that. The last thing I remember was because Norv was kind of he always had jokes and things like that. So we have a great relationship now, and because we still talk about that day. And he says, so tell all your family and friends that your little name's going to pop up on the ticker at the bottom. You know what I mean? Yeah. So get excited. And he patched me through to my defensive coordinator, who was Rob Ryan, talk with him. And then Wink Martindale, who's the D coordinator now with the New York Giants. He hops on the phone because he was my linebackers coach. And literally everything is always just when you see a player like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. No problems. You're going to get everything out of me, coach. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. Yep. Oh, yeah. I can't wait. And I literally hung up that phone and just cried. And everybody already knew. My name popped up. And next thing you know, you're in the National Football League. And the reason why I tell that story is because those emotions that I felt are what I will feel tonight when I see these players get their names called, get their names, called, and they go up and go shake Commissioner Goodell's hand and give him a bear hug. I know yesterday I talked to Anthony Richardson. I said, are you going to shake the hand of Commissioner Goodell, or are you going to give him a bear hug? He said, that man about to change my life with his announcement. I'm going to give him a hug. So, yeah, a lot of emotions going on through that.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.